you actually try this on your own. Hopefully you pause the video and then try this one. Okay, but I'm just going to go. So for this one, if you look at it, 3m minus 5, 3m minus 5, they are the same. So then we can say our GCF is 3m minus 5. So this then equals 3m minus 5, which is our GCF, and whatever, again, that is left over, which is 2x minus 3. So it will be just 2x minus 3. Okay, so that's how we can do the binomial common factor. So again, do not panic when you see binomial instead of monomial. They work basically the same thing. Okay, they work basically the same thing. Okay. The last one is factoring by grouping. It's an application from the part 2. So when you take a look at it, sometimes when you have more than 2 terms, again, remember in the part 2, we only had the 2 terms, right? We only had the 2 terms. For example, in B, we have 7 times a plus b, which actually is 1 term. And then we have negative 2x times a plus b, which is another term. So we only had the 2 terms, and that's why it was working. But what if we have like 4 terms like this, and it's not that all of them have common factoring here. So what we can do is this. If you take a look at very closely, if you take a look at ax and if you take a look at plus xb, they have something in common, right? They have something in common. So actually I'm going to highlight this in different colors so that I can actually follow it. So I will highlight it in green. So if you take a look at these two, they have something in common. So what I will do to make it easier for us to see, not blue, green, is that I'll just put these two things together. Now I will put bx instead of x. Well, it doesn't really matter. I'll put xb. Okay, and then the negative by and the negative ay has something in common as well. So then it becomes negative by minus ya. Now some of you may ask me, but that's not what I see. I see something else. So I'll show you the other one that you're probably seeing it. Now, then from this, hopefully you see that from the first two, the x's are in common, right? So what I will do here, then, I will put x as a common factor. So then it will be just a plus b, right? Since ax divided by x is just a, and then xb divided by x is just b, right? And then from the other one, so from this one, if I take a look at it, I have negative, so I put negative since both of them has negative. And then I have y in common, so I'll use this brownish color. So then I'll put negative y as the common factor, and that becomes just b plus a as well. Now, then hopefully you see it, but just for you, I will rearrange it. So a plus b, then minus y, a plus b again. Now remember, a plus b or b plus a plus b, they're the same thing, right? 1 plus 2, 2 plus 1, well, both are 3, so both are okay. So we can actually change the order. So then hopefully you see here that we have a plus b in common like we did in part 2. So then we know it will be a plus b, and then whatever that is left over, and then x minus y. Now, I am showing you this to make the transition smoother for the next lesson, okay, because we actually have to do this next class. This is a very critical part of it, okay? So hopefully you understand this. Now, then, what about the other way? Let's see whether we actually get the same answer from the other way. What if I have ax minus by plus xb plus, well, minus ya. Now, if you take a look at this, well, hopefully you notice it. Our ax has something in common with negative ya. And then we have negative by has something in common with a positive xb. So then this gives me ax minus ya, and then minus by plus xb. Now I will rearrange this. Okay, I will rearrange this so that X actually comes first, alphabetical order. So, I will change this to a blue color. So then minus by plus xb. So I'll just put the x first because I like the alphabetical order, and quite a lot of times it actually gives me better idea and better answer to it. So for the first two, I have the y in common. So then I can put this to be a, x minus y. And then the second one, I can put plus b and then x minus y, right? Because if you take a look, the b's are the common factors here. So then after all, we have x minus y in common. So what we can do is then having x minus y first, and then a plus b, which are the leftovers. So hopefully you see that we have exactly the same answer, a plus b, right? And then we have x minus y. Okay? So that's basically the way that we can do for the part 3. Now, part 3 is a little long and challenging, but it actually is important for you to understand this, okay? So then let's take a look at the second example. Hopefully you actually notice this. So hopefully you see that this AB has something in common with a 3A, or maybe 3B. It's up to you. It really doesn't matter which one you choose, as long as there is something in common, okay? So then we have AB, I will rearrange it, plus then 3A, plus 9, plus 3B, okay? Or I will actually just rearrange it to be 3B plus 9. Now, then hopefully you see that the A's are in common. So then this is where my A comes out as a common factor, and then plus 3B plus 3. From these two, the GCF is 3. So then it will be plus 3, and then B plus 3 here again. And hopefully you notice it that B plus 3's are common again like before, like binomial common factoring. So then it becomes B plus 3 times A plus 3. Okay? And if you actually try to pair the AB with a 3B, and you will have exactly the same answer anyway. Okay? So I actually want you to try these up to F and see whether you can do it. And I will just make the answer key. Okay, so I want you to actually pause the video and see whether you can do the rest of it. And I'll just make the answer key over here. Okay, so thank you for watching. I really want you to try to study on this one. This is the basics of what we're going to do next class. If you don't get this, then you really have to come for extra help next week or on Friday. Okay, or Thursday. This is the basics. You don't study, that's it. Okay, you won't be able to do the next lesson easily. You are going to suffer it. So please, please, please come for extra help. I'll see you guys on Friday. And study hard for the quiz, which is up to the special product. Okay, you really have to practice on the special product. Don't just get used to the FOIL method. Okay, all right, bye guys. See you on Friday.